Welcome back to another episode in this series as we try to build a flight sim in Minecraft. Last time, we built the mechanism that creates different color shulker boxes to send them down into the screen so that we can control each of the pixels. We decided on 4 colors for now. I think that should be enough to make it look somewhat like a flight sim. This time, we're going to build the control circuits that actually power this contraption, and then we'll marry that to the TNT cannons. So hopefully by the end of the episode, we should be able to actually refresh the screen with any image we want. Okay, now to wire up the control circuits for this. Even though it's only 15 wide, which is as far as redstone can travel down a wire, I actually need to power it from both sides because redstone only travels down 8 rails, so like you see here. Since I want to make this as fast as possible, I'm going to have to make sections of these dropper lines instant. And the way I'll do that is by controlling the update order in which I power the observers. So you can do that in a bunch of different ways, but for now I'm just going to use different combos of repeaters and observers to control for it. Alright, so you can see here when I power this line, it instantly shoots out the item at the end of the dropper line because it first powers the 2 repeaters, then the repeater observer, then observer repeater, and finally the 2 observer combo. So this is the method I'll be using to control update order throughout the machine. Okay, let's get to building. There we have it. Don't mind all the redstone wire. For now, this is just my messy wiring to test this machine out and make sure that everything's working. After I work out all the kinks, I'll clean it up and make it more lag friendly. So now what should happen is when one of the outer walls gets a signal, it does all the shulker box stuff, but it also triggers this control line. This line then updates all the droppers in order and sends the shulker box all the way across the gap and down into the screen. I built in a bunch of different delays so that all the boxes end up in the machine at the same time. So let me just demonstrate that. So right now there's no shulker boxes on the display. And I've loaded the shulker boxes and the red dye here. So now if I send an update to this wall, we should be able to see a red shulker box dispensed. Something weird I noticed is that when I first build the machine with the data pack, for some reason the first time I try to run it, all the timings seem to be off. So what I did is I added this line of blocks, and then after it's built, the data pack clears the blocks to update the machine the first time. And then after that, I fill up the droppers with dies and shulker boxes so that the next time the machine updates, it actually creates the boxes and sends them down the lines. I'm not sure where this glitch comes from. It might just have something to do with like building it with the resource pack. I'm not sure. But either way, it should all work now. So let's test it. All right, so what should happen when we rebuild this machine is first it builds the machine, then a few seconds later it clears all the iron blocks touching the walls on these sections. This will prime the machine to receive an input. Then it fills up the droppers with dies and shulker boxes a few seconds after that. And then it'll place stone blocks on all of these lines, and it should trigger lime shulker boxes to be made and sent through this machine. So if all goes to plan, we should see all lime shulker boxes after a few seconds show up on this screen. And we do. Great. So now all we have to do is isolate all these inputs for all the walls and synchronize it with our TNT dropper to clear each frame. At that point, we should be able to refresh the screen and display any image we want at a 2.5 Hz refresh rate. But before we do that, I'm going to rebuild these control circuits so that we get rid of all the redstone wire, replacing everything with rails, and making them much more lag friendly. All right, everything's wired up and synchronized, and we're ready to test. So what I did is I synchronized the TNT dropper clocks to the updates sent to the walls. Right now I'm using command blocks to update the walls for each frame, and I alternate between lime and red colors. So if everything goes to plan, what we should see is a screen flashing between red and lime colors. All right, let's give it a shot. First, I'm going to rebuild the machine. Then I've got to wait until it's primed. Now I'll start it, and this will start the TNT clocks and also the clock that updates each pixel between red and lime. And it's working. Very cool. No flicker between the frames. It's getting a bit laggy since I'm recording, but this is a fully working screen with 4 different inputs per pixel for 4 different colors. Next time, we're going to create some buses to branch out from the walls and turn it into a control line that we can actually send updates to without the command blocks. So at the end of next week's video, we should be able to actually play a short video on this screen. Thanks a lot for watching. See you guys next week.